the new platform, it's a little more forgiving than YouTube. And plus, for content creators, it gives them 95% of their assets compared to like 30 of YouTube. YouTube gets their huge cut. Not that we're going to be not monetizing anything, but yeah, you would have to have a lot of subscribers for that. So there you go.
All right. Well,
isn't that exciting news?
It's very exciting news.
We'll see if it works. I have it going there, but because you had to do some little programming yourself to get it to work. And I'm not good at programming. 254 of the Radio Impound podcast, post Mugen Challenge edition. We made the trip, Jason, out to Mugen. There was a little hiccup here. Not little. It was actually a big hiccup. And yeah, you can go into that. That's pretty exciting because I planned on being there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but I ended up only going on Sunday. And it wasn't entirely my fault. And it's not your fault either. It's someone else's.
Yeah, I mean, I had a flight leaving Orlando, going directly to Harrisburg on Frontier, and they started delaying the flight. It kind of looked like it was going to get canceled, and I didn't want to stay there forever, so I just left and went back to the shop. They said that they would redirect my baggage. They said they'd redirect my baggage back to Orlando. So what I did in the meantime is I booked a Southwest flight and kind of got ready on a Southwest flight for Saturday. And then I drove and I went through Baltimore instead. So I flew into Baltimore and then I drove to Harrisburg, picked up my bag that was supposed to come back to Orlando, then drove to the track on Saturday, caught the second round of qualifying.
Right.
And then got my spot in the Airbnb I had reserved, and then got up the next day and main event day on Sunday. So still got to see a lot of the Mugen Challenge, albeit not the real social. There's a real social night.
Friday night, I think it was.
Yeah, so we didn't get that, but other than that, it was still a good experience and good event.
Yeah, Jason Santos in the chat. He showed up on Saturday looking for us. He was there early Saturday, Jason.
Yeah, he messaged me and I was like just flying into Baltimore and I'm like, I'm getting my rental car. Long story short, it's going to be a while.
So, yeah.
But yeah, it was good. I think he said he got his nitro fix in. He was able to see what he wanted to see and he headed back, and I got there Saturday and the guys are doing their qualifying.
I was thinking I could have went Saturday then if I knew Santos was going. Then I could have gave him the Hot Shot 2 that's sitting right over there, and he could have got that ready for me. Get it all prepped up for a race.
Prepped up for vintage Nats.
Yeah.
Classic class or whatever it's called.
Yeah, there's a vintage. Somebody sent me a link. I think it was Santos or Nick DeVito. Yeah, DeVito sent it to me, a link that there's a race in January, like a Tamiya vintage type thing.
I didn't know about that.
Where I could race the Hot Shot 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Imagine seeing that on the track. Last time it was on the track was 1987.
Bringing it back.
And it still has dirt on it.
Bringing it right back.
Yeah. So he said he can get it ready. So I could have handed that off to him. Rob Sturchill's in the chat. Good evening, fellas. Randy Enger. Good evening, boys. So, yeah, I mean, I showed up. So I showed up Sunday. I delivered your Starbucks for you that I got.
That was a big deal, really, because, I mean, for me to leave there and try to go somewhere and then come back would have been like probably an hour and a half round trip.
Easily. Yeah, easily. So you're texting me in the morning. You're like,
Yeah.
me Starbucks.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, you picked that up, you got it done, and yeah, that was a
Yeah.
big bonus to the day.
That was a good time. I mean, yeah, I wish we could have, because I had all intentions of being there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But I figured, well, if Jason's not there, I'm not going to just stand around and everybody's like, "Hey, what's Gotti doing here? What are you doing here?"
What are you doing here, bro?
Yeah. AFL will be like, "Get out of my pits, man."
Get out of here. But no, we overall, man, we had a really good,
It was fun. Yeah.
yeah, it was a really good, fun event, and everything's getting,
I just always get all so jacked up after those races, and I'm like, man, 8 scale nitro, yeah. Like, I wish I could race them, but there's no way I could, you know, for real. Walking around the hobby shop with you though was so cool. Looking at all the stuff.
Yeah, they've expanded the shop there at LCRC a little bit the last couple of years, added more RC stuff. They were really into, I guess, power sports is, I think, maybe the general term. They were doing a lot of that, for quite a while, but it's almost gone where it's almost more, well, probably is more of an RC shop and facility than it is any kind of power sports stuff. So it's been doing good for them. They've been putting a lot back into their events, and having places for RV setups, for power, and I think they're doing a good job there, and they're able to kind of get some of the benefits of that with some good turnout events. They got the cancer awareness race, I think, is a week or two away. I think it's the same weekend as the Worlds, or the second part of the Worlds.
Yeah.
So I think they're expecting another pretty good turnout there. So
Ed's in the chat. I got to meet Ed at LCRC. Zach Ryan saying, do you think 8 scale tracks are getting easier? If you look back through some of the DNC history 10 years ago, they seem way more technical with lots of rhythm sections. Not all the jumps are just hit them hard and jump over. Oh wait, I read that wrong. Now all the jumps are just hit them hard and jump over it.
I would say, I guess yes and no. I think some of these things kind of go in waves. They're a little bit in cycles. I think I'm trying to remember what I'm trying to think about is the last race we had there. That this might have been at the Fear Farm. The one that the Nitro Challenge that David Ronnefolk won. I remember they had a 2 or 3 jump section in the front that was double, triple, or something like that. I believe that might have been the last one at the Fear Farm, and then we went to, obviously then COVID came. We ended up going to Thunder Alley once, and Thunder Alley just didn't really have the same type of, not the same type of space that maybe the traditional Nitro Challenge locations had. So then we went back out to the new Nitro Challenge facilities, got out there, and yeah, I would say that we haven't had quite as difficult of layouts the past several years. There was the one, I'm trying to think, it's the one where there's the big berm, there's a berm turn in the left side. It was getting all rutted out, and coming out of that, I think it was, maybe there was a double, triple coming out of that. That was kind of difficult. They tried the bridge. It seems like the bridge comes back out every couple Nitro challenges where or two where you have to go under the bridge on one lap and then over the top of it the other lap. So I think it comes in cycles. The part that I don't like on these tracks is I don't like when they put whoop sections or a long series of moguls or the offset bumps. I don't like any of that stuff. Like they just had one of those at Wicked Weekend, and it's just total chaos. It's just, to me, it's just not good racing. Obviously you have a double, triple, or many triples. Those are always nice. But just the whoops and the moguls and those things, I think those things are just gimmicks, and just you basically take the best drivers and you just make them slow down and negotiate these little things. And I'd rather see it a little faster. But yeah, I mean, I think it just comes down to what Joey does. I think Joey doesn't draw his tracks out. He doesn't like take a piece of paper and draw anything. I think he just does whatever he feels motivated to do at that time. So
as he's building it,
yeah, he just he just builds it on the fly.
That is nuts.
And I think that's part of why maybe it turns out the way they do. This year's layout, I mean, I can hardly remember it now, but because we went from the big track to the small track, so we got like one full day of practice on the big track, and I actually thought it was going to be kind of neat. I remember it was kind of coming around backwards this time from the year before. It was kind of in the front stretch, it was going left to right, but there was some good doubles and triples there, but then we had to move over to the small track, which was just as much as he could get under that roof to get a full race in, which I actually thought was great. He had to do what he could do, and we got away with the race. Silver State, so much of Silver State, I think, that track had a lot of elevation this year. He built up the back sections quite a bit, and that dirt, they have to keep it really wet there because of the dust is so bad. I mean, even as it is, as it's wet, it's still pretty dusty and nasty in there. At least from my perspective. I mean, I'm not racing or driving, but people love it. I mean, obviously, it's the biggest race we had this year, I think. I think they had over 1,000 entries there, 1,100, 1,150, something like that. And that was where obviously Feelong had an incredible main event, got second, had a Silver State Nitro Challenge. It was unbelievable. And Marco Garofalo won it there at Silver State. But yeah, that layout wasn't all that exciting. I think what ended up happening there was it kind of just, the surface kind of takes over. The nastiness or the rhythm of the track is determined by the surface kind of deteriorating a little bit. I'm trying to think of some other layouts we've had this year. The Roar Nats was kind of cool, albeit that layout was in a little while. But it was interesting. I'd never seen a track incorporate an oval, like a dirt oval, into the layout. Kevin had that set up where you jumped into the oval and then ran around part of it. I thought that was kind of neat.
That's what we do up here.
I've never seen that before. I've never seen that happen before. And so it just kind of comes in cycles. If what usually I see happen, if there's some like section that really like gets a lot of video time, people start trying to replicate those into their own tracks. So like if something comes online and like people see like this section that they think is really neat, then all of a sudden like many tracks start trying that on their layouts. But we'll see. I hopefully we get good weather at Nitro Challenge this year. That kind of determines everything. It's kind of the biggest race of the year in terms of just the feel. The vibe is amazing there, and but the weather got us this year. But maybe it'll be a good one this year or this coming year.
Randy's saying agreed with the whoops. They're terrible in RC. I know it comes from motocross when the rider can lean back, but you can't lean back in an RC car.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, that's where they come from, and you don't you don't have a rider on an RC car, so you can't lean back and skim necessarily over the top with your front tires, and all you end up doing is kind of jumping into them, and then you kind of go like this, and they're just, to me, they're just dumb. I've never gotten it ever since I started racing. Um, I don't like whoops or mogul. You know, when they put, sometimes they'll call them like elephant turds or moguls, where they just got a big round, just a round piece of dirt that's just stuck in sections, and they stagger them.
Right.
Horrible.
Terrible.
Landmines, I've heard them referred to as that. Yeah, ever since I've been racing, I've never liked any of that stuff. Step downs, never really liked step downs in 10 scale, 2-wheel drive. 4-wheel drive was okay. 8 scale, I'm sure, is fine, but never been a big fan of step downs, moguls, and whoops. Doubles, triples. The thing that I think is underused all the time are tabletops. I never see.
Underused.
Yeah, we just don't see a lot of tabletops in RC. Maybe it requires a ton of dirt. I know that. Trying to make one tabletop, you got to have. But I would say the best track one of the coolest layouts I ever ran at when I was a kid, I think it was in 1992. We went to RCHR in, I think it was in Costa Mesa or Huntington Beach. I forget where they said it was, but RCHR. But yeah, that track probably had 6 tabletops on it, and I thought it was just the greatest.
Wow.
I thought it was like the greatest track. Today's standards, you probably have to change it a little bit, but I mean, today it's in 10 scale, we have some very challenging jumps. It seems like, doubles and triples are very large. We did a
So
track.
10 scale is getting harder.
Yeah, 10 scale is very hard. And we did a track walk at the beginning of this year at SDRC. There was some really tough, challenging jumps there. There was a section of the chicane in front of the driver's stand where we kind of had to. Dakota Fenn made like this incredible move on Aiden Horn, and I believe it was the first main. And we were all just kind of shocked watching because it was the last lap, and I didn't think it just didn't seem possible to do what he did. It was such an amazing jump. And I think there's some people that still don't think that he did it. But because what we were trying to decide at the time was, did he cut the track or not when he did it? And we went through all the replays, all the reviews. We were watching this thing over and over again, and sure, people are like, "Oh yeah, you can see the shadow of his cars," but it's like a shadow is projected. A shadow isn't exactly underneath, depending on how the lighting is. So you couldn't really go by that. And we kind of came to the conclusion that it was tough to say that he did not do it correctly. And we ended up getting the win there in that first main. But Aiden Horn ended up winning, I think, the A2 and A3, and ended up winning the overall. And I think Dakota still got second. But yeah, I mean, it was an amazing move, but that was a section of the track, the 10 scale, very difficult.
Brutal.
Yeah, 2-wheel drive, it's easy to make a track very difficult for 2-wheel because you just don't have front brakes. And with 4-wheel drive, you can get away with a little more with front brakes and 8 scale and all this kind of, those races. You can do a lot more with the car, but 2-wheel drive, you really have to be very precise. And we'll see that at the Worlds in a couple weeks. And I'm sure that track will be no easy task. The surface is usually hard for everybody from the get-go. And there's they always put some pretty good jumps on there, and they never fill them in. They never fill in the tabletops or fill in the jumps there. They never fill in the doubles or the triples. So if you get it wrong, it's always just a major case. You land, chassis right on that third one or whatever your timing is. So there's just no room for error, and I'm sure it won't be an easy track.
John Bolton saying, I like whoops. All my tracks had them.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people that do like them, but
So what do you think of the layout for the Mugen challenge?
let's see. Thinking back here, you go front straight, top, right hand 180, you step down, you go into a bowl turn, tight turn, going back up the hill, you jump up top, then you left-hander, jump back down, double apex turn to the right, jump back up on the hill on the left side, big off camber, then a double double, and then a right-hander with offset staggered jumps. Then you make a right-hander back to a left, and then a jump kind of onto a sloped section on a bank turn coming around, mini chicane on the front straightaway. So let's see. What I liked watching at that track was I think I liked you jumped up this is on the left side. You go after you go in front of the driver's stand, you step up onto the platform on the left.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a video here I could put up.
And then you would hit the off camber. I thought that was a neat section. Double, double. Then I liked the whole left side. Then you enter the chicane, and then kind of from there on out, it was like, everybody, going through that bowl turn on the right was pretty tight in there. But I really liked the left side. That was really fun to watch.
Yeah, John's saying all about timing and the whoops. Sometimes patience pays off. Video game kids can't do them. Well, I guess I wouldn't be able to do them then. So,
well, what I don't like about it is if it doesn't have a rhythm to it. Like, it's one thing if you can go in and you can double, triple, or some combination of jumps. Can you do, so the jumps are spaced so you can make a timing section out of it. If they're not spaced like that and you just drive into them and the car just kind of goes all over the place and doesn't stay straight, and 1 second it goes to the left, the next it goes to the right, I think it just throws off the flow. If that's, to me, like what I look for, is there a nice flow when I'm driving, and that makes it fun. And if you can do that in the section, if you can double, triple, there's some kind of rhythm to it, then I think then it makes it fun. But yeah, if you're just all randomness in there, they've had those at the Nitro Challenge before, and you just take one of the best guys in the A sort for 5 minutes, and they're going through a section that's just, you're just going like, I don't get it. So Mugen Challenge layout, I liked it. Left side was really cool. Yeah, you got it up here now.
This is courtesy of 46. Yeah, 46RC Live. Toby. Met Toby out there.
Yeah.
Oh, I got what am I doing here? Did I lose it? What happened to it? I wanted to put that back up.
So yeah, John Bolton's he's reminding us here he thinks that's how you should build them for RC, is where they have timing, double, triple, or whatever he's saying. Whatever he's saying the amount of jumps are kind of determines what you can do. And yeah.
Supercross whoops don't work in RC, correct? Will they work with the Losi bike?
Nope. Can't
lean the driver back.
I think what you get in with the Losi bike is it'll do these kind of jumps really well on a straight line. Like, you put it out on this track, that section coming down off the off camber, well, I don't. For one, I don't think the Losi bike would do that off camber turn, but the uh, anything that's a straight line of jumps, like it actually would really kick butt on that stuff. So here's the track layout. That's what I was talking about. Um, let's see who we end up following here, just to kind of get to the left side. This is the right side of the track. Not really my favorite. This is actually the A main, following Adam Drake and Joe Bornhorst there and a few others. But here's the part I like. Jump up to the top, off camber, turn there,
Yeah.
right hander, double, roller, double. Here's the staggered jumps. They kind of pick their way through those. And then, so that's what I liked. Here's Ty running through the little bowl, kind of coming back here, a little double up. This part there, jumping up on that tabletop, that was tough. You could see guys in buggy trying to adjust on that. But yeah, they have an interesting shape track here. So that kind of, I'm not going to say it limits what they can do, but it always gives you different layouts than what a traditional track is. Because this track layout isn't just a big rectangle out in the field. It kind of has once you follow over here, it kind of has a smaller end over here, where it kind of pinches off to a little smaller of a tractor on the right side.
Yeah, right there. Yep.
And then it gets larger in depth in the center and on the left. So it always creates a little bit of a different type of track. They're always kind of having to work in that side. But they always seem to make them different. They always seem to be just a little bit different. For many years, they used to have their big Daytona turn on the left, I think they called it, which was pretty much a bank turn or a big berm. It's still banked over there. Randy's saying that a few years ago, SIC had a really fun 8-pack section. It was 4 doubles in a row, which, yeah, I've seen some of those. They are, that's incredible amount of.
That's sick.
Yeah, in 8 scale, it's nice. That's nice in 8 scale because you have a lot of control over the front end, and 2-wheel drive those sections are always really hard because if somebody's in front of you and crashes in front of you, it makes it really difficult to recover. So yeah, the TQs, we had Mayfield TQ there at the Mugen Challenge, the Truggy class, Ty Tessman TQ'd Nitro Buggy, and Ryan Lutz TQ'd E-Buggy, and they all won their class TQ'd. So 45-minute main and buggy, that was good, exciting. And then we had the Truggy main, which was only 25 minutes, but still a good race. Went to the end.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Mayfield and Jared Wiggins went right to the line, practically a couple seconds apart. The E-Buggy race, Ty kind of kept Ryan Lutz pretty in his sights most of the race. Mayfield fell back a couple seconds, but he ended up getting third, Ty second, and then Lutz got a great win in E-Buggy. So, yeah, it was each driver there, that TQ got a win. And I know one of the other drivers that was super pumped was Katie Roxbury. She won her intermediate buggy class. She was so excited, drove really well. And so in the background here, you have the Pro Truggy main going here. But yeah, they kind of have to start in the bank here. And, Ryan's up here out front into the chicane. He's there right at the tip of the chicane.
Yeah, right there. Yep.
So a little down and quiet. And there you go. You can see how dusty the track is here at this point, but it was pretty abrasive. Like it was we ran blue compound here, which I think we had a few that wish they would have went a little harder for compound. But this was about the heat of the day, and track was pretty grooved up. Ryan was pretty set on running the blues, and it worked for him. He actually had to get a little quicker at the end to kind of keep his distance, but I think he only made one mistake. It was kind of a long crash over there on the left side in that berm area, and he was kind of checking out, carrying a pretty nice lead, and kind of made an uncharacteristic mistake off in an area that cost him quite a bit, and he lost a lot of his lead, and then he had to kind of earn it there at the end. So, but it still pulled it off. Him and Ryan Lutz had a nice battle early. Yeah, it was fun to be there. Great turnout. I think it was a 490 entries, something like that.
Somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, 220 or 30 people.
All I know is I had to park way out there, and I had to take a shuttle bus in.
Yeah, it was nice that they provided those shuttle buses, though.
Yeah, I had the Starbucks and your croissant, right?
That's right.
Your buttered croissant.
Mm-hmm.
Had to make the trip all the way in Timbuktu. I was parked. I was like, dang, there's a lot of people here and RVs everywhere. It's like this race has really grown.
Oh yeah, I mean and you can see they keep investing back into the facility. That's what makes the difference. Is they do a good job with the promotion of their own event. They know that it's on them to make sure people know it's around and know it's of an event. And they invest back in the facility. They have the hobby shop stocked. It's a program.
Well stocked.
It's a program. You have to do it right, and you don't just sit in the hobby store and wait for people to walk in. You have to bring them in there, and that's what's going on here. So did a good job, and now they move on to their next one. They kind of have a big trophy event like this every month and a half or something like that.
You're saying the race is September 14th through the 17th, the race to end cancer.
Yeah, and I think what you're going to see there is probably another big, large turnout, especially for having a cause, and obviously a lot of donations going back there. So the only thing is we got the Worlds going on, so we can't go. But when I was there, I was actually thinking about. I'm like, man, I kind of want to come back here again.
Well, their Halloween race is pretty awesome because they do like a Halloween themed stuff, and
that's a good idea. Yeah. I can come dressed as Chuck Norris.
If Ed's Chuck Norris. Yeah. What was it again? What's Lone
Wolf McQuaid?
I always want to say Lone Star from Spaceballs.
Yeah. Lone Wolf McQuaid is his name was J.J. McQuaid in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if Ed's still in the chat. What's the dates of the Halloween race? Because that might be somewhere right around the Monster Truck Worlds.
That's right, at RC Madness.
Yeah.
The RCMTC World Finals at RC Madness.
Is that a J Concepts event?
No, we don't put on the event. We just we are a sponsor, but they have many sponsors each year. So it's not our event exclusively or anything. It's there's the DeFalco brothers actually run that race. They're from New York, and they actually run most of all their events at RC Madness during their season, their monster truck season, and then they have this finals in October.
Okay. So is it the monster truck race? Is it like what you do, that one you just go up over and it's just a real quick thing? This
one, they tend to make a little more of a complicated track for the world finals. So they may have like an over under. You never really know what they do, but it'll be a little longer track than usual.
So you think I have a lot of fun at that one?
I think you will.
Because I might pass on the Worlds. Correct? We were talking about this, so because it just seems like it's going to be. I'd be in a not that I'd. Yeah, who knows? Ed's Ed's saying the Halloween race is October 20th through the 22nd. So what's the rate? When's the monster truck race?
That sounds like the weekend of that I'll probably be at our. Yeah, that's the same weekend as our NCTS finals. So
Oh damn!
I'll be at our NCTS finals.
Because the Halloween race at LCRC is really, really cool from what I was told. I've never been to that one, but yeah, they do some cool things for that. And Kevin and Krista always come up with cool ideas. John Bolton saying, is McQuaid going to make a return to the program? The Halloween edition of the Radio Impound podcast. We could do that. Jason felt that wasn't one of our best episodes, but when I looked back on it recently, I could have done some things differently where you could have heard me better, or you could have heard Michael better. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But when I looked back at it recently, I'm like, dude, this is hilarious, man. Michael was pure gold on that one. John Bolton saying it's a classic for sure. It was. I had a ton of fun with that one. A ton. But maybe Michael can get a better microphone.
Yeah, it's a talk JJ.
Maybe Michael will be back, but I'm not sure about McQuaid.
You got to talk JJ back into
it. So yeah, okay. So the Halloween race is out for you.
Yep. NCTS finals for me.
Ed saying the Hayrides best pit award, kids event, candy in the pits, everything you can ask for. Yeah, pretty cool.
I mean, it does sound.
Is it a haunted hayride? Those are always fun. Bartelli from New Jersey saying happy Sunday, guys. Happy Sunday to you. This is a Sunday edition of the Ripcast.
How we all doing?
So, there you can see us right there, Jason. Or you can at least see me. I was standing right there. I think it was both of us there, though. But that's pretty cool.
So that's the proof.
It's proof that I was there, right by the driver's stand there. I was standing.
And then...
yeah, John Bolton saying Michael was afraid of JJ. That's for sure. Okay.
Yeah. He's a guy that you got to be afraid of, though.
Yeah. Still haven't watched that movie.
Texas Rangers, man. You don't mess with them. So going in, yeah, I mean, this is the big Sunday main events here at the Mugen race, and they started early. Would they start about 7 a.m. I think, because they said they wanted
6 a.m. dude.
Was it 6 a.m.?
Yeah. Yep. So it started early, so I was like, "Damn! By the time I get there, these things are going to be over." But we went right till 5 o'clock, I believe, right on the dot.
That's what they do. He said they like to set it up so that they finish at 5, so they figure out how many races they have. They determine their finishing at 5, and then they work backwards to figure out when they got to start, and that's what they do.
Sounds like a lot of math involved.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously got to get your help when it comes to the math side of it.
Not my help. I had that all screwed up because I thought my math was all messed up on that. I was like, they'll be done by noon. I'll be there for 2 hours. Jason's like, no, dude, you got to calculate the mains are like 45 minutes. I'm like, oh.
So, yeah, Kyle Chasen checking in here with us. Good to see us back online, he said.
Yeah, Kyle Chasen. Fantasy football starting up, Kyle. Going for number 8, Jason.
But it's been a little bit of a break, right? You haven't won one for a couple of years, right?
Right. Yep. Kirby Hand's in the chat, and I guess Kirby's free here. He could have been on the pod. I don't know what he's doing. Jason's done with lunch, I see. Jason takes late lunches. That's we had to wait for him to finish. Don't skip me. I guess whatever that means. Ed says it makes his head hurt figuring out the time schedule there at LCRC. But they always aim for 5. So yeah. I don't know. Like I was kind of like if I was in that Truggy main, I'd have been like a little bummed, I guess, right? Like, wouldn't you be like, why can't we run an extra half hour here? Not even a half hour. It would be see, there's my math. I'm all screwed up. I don't know. What would have been another getting out there at 5:30? What would it matter really? Half hour? I don't know. Don't you think like that? Because I was kind of shocked. Like I was like, wait, they cut that? Was it the Truggy main that was cut to 25 minutes?
I think it was 25 minutes.
I guess the guys don't care, right? They're probably like, oh, great, 25 minutes is awesome.
I like 30 minutes as the other breakdown. I like 30, 45, and 60, but they had a reason for it, I think, because
Do you think 60 is too long?
I think normally 60 is too long.
And the sweet spot you would say is 30, maybe? Or
I like 45.
45 you like, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, but like at the races where they run semifinals and finals, they run the semifinals as 30 minutes alone.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I didn't see like, getting out of there at 5 is their thing, I guess, but 5:36.
An hour main is
what does it matter really?
I feel like that extra 15 minutes is really just kind of over the top. But I mean, I understand that they feel that it has a little more value, but I don't know. Seems like you get the same thing done in 45 minutes. The thing that it does is it does change sometimes with pit strategy if there's a 60-minute main, because those intervals become a little different between pit stops, and sometimes that benefits one person or another with the 60-minute main. But here, 25 minutes for Truggy. I would have liked to see it 30. Not that it really matters, but I think 30. Is nice. I think 30 is a nice number. So there you go.
The extra 5 minutes, man. I don't know. I do like the fact that they didn't go through the whole driver intro and all the sponsors. Would have been there forever.
Well, that probably adds another hour. Like by the time
if you think about it, you're telling me there, like that would probably add about an hour.
Yeah, it takes a long time to get through all that stuff, and we try to shorten that up at our events too, because the time is valuable when you're there. It's one thing if you got an event where you only have 2 classes, and you got some time in there to get all that done. But in general, let's start racing. Let's get her done. People know who.
They know.
If you're watching continuously, you kind of know. Sure, if you're a sponsor like us, J Concepts, you do like to hear the drivers announced, with your name on there and everything. But sometimes you like to just get the race running. And I guess the other part to that is if you're running well enough during the main and the announcers are doing their job, you get referenced during the race. So
yeah, that's what they were doing.
Yeah. So we got Kirby Hand saying here he's going to bring back, or as you get some video of Mayfield coming off the wall. You see that?
Wait, what?
That was you down there taking some video of Mayfield getting a pit stop.
I didn't see that. Missed it. Rewinding, forget it. But yeah, so there's proof I was there. Kirby's saying 38 minute A main. It's the new style. There you go, 38. Kyle Chasen saying 30 to 45 is the sweet spot. Yeah, I like 45. I like the pits, like the pit strategy. So speaking of like in the pit strategy, there was it in the buggy where you guys were talking about it back at Mayfield's pit. Tessman came in early, I guess, right? At 7 minutes. This was towards the end of the race, right?
Yeah, that's right. So what was happening is Ryan asked if I could run the watch for them. Red, David Scott is his name. Everyone calls him Red. Um, he was running the fuel gun, and I was running the stopwatch. And Ryan basically just said that he couldn't be on the track past 8 minutes, so he needed to be in the pits about 7:40 was the right spot for him. And so we were doing all the timing, and we were getting them in every time right about 7:40. And Ty Tessman was using the same exact strategy, so Ryan got accustomed to coming in the same exact lap as Ty. And then when one pit stop from the end, Ty came in a lap early, and Ryan just kind of followed him in the pits because that's what he had done for the first 4 pit stops or however many there is. So he followed him right into the pits. And Red, we weren't ready to pit Ryan, but he just grabbed the fuel gun. He already had fuel in it. And Ryan parked in front of him, and a car came through and hit the fuel gun right out of Red's hand. The fuel gun just went sliding down pit lane like a hockey puck.
Right, and landed right in front of me, actually. But I didn't know whose gun it was because I couldn't see, because you guys were down at the other end.
Yeah.
And I see this pit gun just sliding across the pit. It just lands right in front of me. But the guy next to me who was pitting for someone, he quickly grabbed it. But you guys used the bottle then to fill Mayfield's car, right?
Yeah.
You didn't even wait for it to come back. You just started using the bottle.
Yeah, Brian Cotta or his brother, one of the two, they handed Red a pit and just a bottle. He's like, "Hey, I got it right here if you want to fill him with the bottle," because the fuel gun was gone. So Red fueled him with the pit or the bottle, got him back out, still in second place, although he wasn't going to be in contention for the win anymore. At that time coming in, he still had a chance to win the race.
He was right on his tail.
Yeah, he was having a pretty good run. But
so you think if Mayfield didn't come in, well, obviously none of that would have happened, and it would have been a hell of a race near the end.
Well, yeah, it at least would have been competitive right to the very last lap or two.
Right.
To me, I actually thought that Ryan made a couple too many mistakes in that race. I think he had about 4 crashes. And traditionally, if you're going to win one of those mains, you have to really limit it. Like on a track like this, that's somewhat consistent. It's one thing if you're on a track that's just like super bumpy, outrageous. But this track was really consistent for the most part. I mean, you really can't crash more than once if you're going to win one of these things. You have to have a pretty good overall run. And I think Ty never got term-marshaled. He said he did make a mistake, but he didn't get term-marshaled. And I think Ryan had about 4 crashes. So
if you find that part.
If you look at the lap times, he was actually a touch quicker than maybe Ty. But just the mistakes really kind of caught up to him. And then that big thing with the pits just kind of ended any kind of last couple minute run.
Kirby saying Ty trolled Mayfield with that pit stop, which we kind of were talking in the pits. Like, did he do that on purpose just to see if Mayfield would follow him?
Yeah. I mean, the people I talked to say they think that's what he did because they knew that, or Ty had a headset with his dad, so they could talk somewhat privately on the headset. And with the rest of it, Ryan wasn't using a headset, so they felt like they could fool him a little bit there, and they did. I mean, if that's actually what they did on purpose, that was pretty smart of them. That was pretty savvy. But
I mean, they didn't know the gun was going to go flying, but
yeah, but that you're not ready, right?
Yep.
Yeah, if they did that on purpose, it was pretty cool, pretty good that they were able to do that. I mean, obviously Brian wasn't happy with it, but I think if the fuel gun wouldn't have gotten hit, yeah. So there's Ty in.
This is with 14 to go, so this happened near the end. Well, there I am standing.
Oh, that was Ryan.
Then,
Yeah, so that was the
yeah.
one.
So it's around 7 minutes.
Yeah, so it's the last stop.
We'll keep it on here and just let it roll. But
Yeah, I mean, at this point, let's see, I can't. It's hard to kind of count out the lead amount here, but
and it's amazing watching these guys like keep saying it, but the pros like Mayfield and some of these guys that are in the back here getting lapped, it's just unreal because those guys are fast. It's like Mayfield's just running around lapping them. It's like, dang, man.
yeah, I mean, what it shows you is there's a legitimate pro.
Like Jason Scheffler's fast, but not fast enough. He's moving over.
And not just fast, he's extremely fast. He's one of the better drivers in that region, in that area. And, his stuff is ready. He knows the game. He's got the right tires usually. He's a local, he runs that track. And, when the pro racers on that level show up, they are quicker. And it shows you that there is another level to this that is fun to watch because not only are they turning quicker laps, but they're doing it with more consistency. So there's Mayfield doing he hit the corner and did a donut. So that kind of, that dropped him a little further back. He's about, I would say he's about 8 seconds back from Ty here, something like that.
Well, something happens here to get closer because I thought when they came in the pits, they were right next to each other.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. We'll see it as it starts to happen. But there's Katie. Katie was pitting Jared Wiggins there.
John Bolin saying with 0 real spectators, driver sponsors has jumped the shark. The intros. Yeah, there was no point to do all that.
It's interesting I never even heard of that term "jump the shark" until a few years ago, and then it's in reference to the show Happy Days, right?
Yep.
Where Fonzie jumps a shark. Is that what it is?
Yep. Yeah.
So they basically, it's the idea is that it went too far or something like that.
Yeah, that episode was jumping the shark.
Yeah, so
Curry's always say that in the chat. Jump the shark. You jump the shark with that product.
Past its time. Yeah, so he's saying it's past its time, which that makes. So the show might have went on a little too long by the time you jumped the shark, right?
Yeah.
You really ran out of things at that point. But hey, it's still a happy day. That show, I remember watching that show. I was never really a big fan. Like it was a little out of my, I guess, generation range. But
I wasn't a fan of it.
I remember watching it a little bit. I think when it was on, I caught some of it after, whatever I was watching something after it, I think. So you'd catch like the end. So how many minutes we got to go here?
It's at 9:50.
So we got a few more minutes here. I like how there's kids on the swing set in the background.
Yeah. They got the play area there.
Jump the shark. Yeah, major Segway deluxe there. Yeah, we're trying to get to the point where we get to this pit stop here. 9 minutes here. Ryan Lutz was running really good in this main too, but he flamed out, and he also had he was really short on his pit stops. Were he was pitting at like 6.5 minutes or something, so it was definitely going to be hard for him to win pitting at 6.5 minutes. We got a Taylor DeLosa giving us a shout out here. Yeah, it was good.
Thanks, Jason, for taking all the time to talk tires and everything RC at LCRC with me.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing better than talking about
tires.
Tires and the racing itself is just a lot of fun.
With your customers.
Yep. It's definitely what it's about. So.
And that's the thing. Anytime you need help, you could just contact Jason. And he's always there, right, Jay?
That's right. So, I don't know if you want to. We got to be getting about 8 minutes here.
We're at 7:50.
Okay, so something's going to be happening here.
So who are we following right now? There's Tessman, right?
I think that's Jared Mugen and Ryan Lutz.
Yeah, it's not Tessman.
Yeah.
Hopefully they have it. I didn't watch back. I didn't watch this back. Kids.
Yeah, so we'll see where they dip in here, but maybe they'll go back up to Ty and Ryan when they do.
Yeah, so they're following 3 and 4. And I think I just saw Ryan in back of Ty. Like a second off, maybe? Right there? They just went past.
They should be around there somewhere.
Oh, there's the gun.
Yeah. So Ryan's sitting there.
They didn't get it. Yeah.
There's the fuel bottle.
Dang. I went too far. It's hard to scrub on here.
So we got John Bolton asking a question here.
I just rewound it here, and this is when that's 7. John says, "Do you see the belted technology from drag tire influencing off-road?"
It's tough to say. I mean, we have driven some belted off-road tires before, and the thing that I don't personally like about that idea is I think they're going to wear more, and there's the fuel gun.
And I'm right here. So I wasn't right in front of it, but yeah, this dude here was standing here. He just went and grabbed it for us. But
that's good. I think what would happen is I think that the cost of the tires would jump up another level. They'd be a little harder to get. And I don't know, they might wear a little bit more. That part I'm not 100% sure about, but I don't know if that's a great move for us. I think it would be better in general for us to stay away from that a little bit, because I think the price would jump up a little bit. And I don't think we would see any increase in certain things that would justify switching over to that. So, and then, everything could be an advantage. The question is it, is it worth the price difference? Is it worth being, even harder to get? There's a lot to it. I don't know if there is. Yeah, I just don't know if that's the way we should go or not. I had Gil Losi Jr. tell me one time that at the 97 Worlds, which was in Pomona at the Ranch Pit Shop, he told me that he thought Masami was running belted tires at the warm-up race.
Hmm.
And he thought that he actually, this is kind of funny, he actually put whoops on the track, like stutter bump things. They were somewhat small. They weren't like really big. You kind of drove through them fast, and the car would kind of, make, rumble through. He said he put those on the track because it would limit Masami from running belted tires.
Wow.
I don't know that that was happening or would have happened, but
Ed is saying, other than that pit stop with the gun flying, Red was doing a great job with pit stops. Ryan's stops were faster till then.
yeah, I agree. I was watching there. I was looking at my phone, looking at the times, and I want to say like, was it 43s and 44s were fast for the guys doing with a pit stop, and I think Ryan was continually a little quicker than the other guys in the pits, and I just kept telling Red, I was like, just keep doing what you're doing. I'm like, you don't have to go any faster. I'm like, you're doing good. I'm like, just do the same thing because we're not necessarily going to win this race in the pits. Like, we got to make sure his tank is full and he doesn't run out of fuel. That's the best advantage that you could have at that point is just to not have any issues. And obviously, we had the pit gun or the fuel gun got hit, slid down. That was not his fault. So, but yeah, I thought he did a great job in the pits. And my thing is, I was just trying to watch to make sure we came in on the right time, and just trying to give Red updates when that was coming close to happening or anywhere close.
So what did you say near that though? Like at that 7-minute mark when Ty came in, did you say like, hey, we're at 7 minutes to Mayfield or Red? Or
Well, you can't. It was hard to talk to Mayfield because you had to yell to him. And
yeah, I remember Mayfield saying that he was trying to yell down to you guys or something.
yeah, he said he was yelling a few times down to us, and we didn't. I didn't hear anything until right at the end when he yelled like 3 or 4 times that he wanted to do a splash and go just in case the fuel bottle pit wasn't good. He just wanted to make sure that he still got second. But it took him. I bet you he had to yell 3 or 4 times at the end before we even acknowledged.
So that's where the headsets is an advantage.
Yeah.
So is there anything he can program on that radio? Can you program like, okay, I want to come in at 7 minutes, let's say?
You probably see that's the stop and go he did right there.
Wait, what's this now?
So when he was yelling down to us at the end that he wanted to come in and just
right,
he just did it and Red used the fuel gun, but
okay.
Yeah, I think in general,
is there a setting on a radio that can give you a little notification that, hey, you're at the 6-minute mark, 7 minutes?
Maybe there could be an alarm set that you have on there that it would go off like every 7 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but you would probably have to start it somehow at the beginning of the race with a button, and then like every 7 minutes.
Wow, that's true.
Maybe you'd make like a tone.
John's saying there is times on the radio, but you can't hear it. You think it would vibrate though? Because I think
the best thing really for him to do is to figure out how to use a headset.
Right. You're saying he doesn't like the feel of them on him?
Yeah, he just doesn't like having that thing on his head.
Which I mentioned to you, same with me. Like for podcasting, I use the earbuds because I can't stand the weight of that headset on a 2-3 hour podcast, but
yeah, I looked into some other options too for him, but at some point he's just going to have to do it. It's just being in direct communication with your pit guy is an advantage, and it's never been shown more as an advantage than in that race. I've never seen it play out like that before, where essentially, I don't know if it was intentional or not. If it was intentional, it was smart on their part, but they they kind of screwed him. I mean, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying, like,
I think they did it on purpose because
I,
they saw him come in every single time with them, and they're like, you know what? We're coming in. Let's come in at 7, see what happens.
yeah, I think that they were able to do that, and it was smart on their part. So, um, and it kind of caught Ryan off guard, and in turn, it caught the pit crew off guard, and they weren't 100% ready. And then the fuel gun got hit, and the race is over. So, um, I've never seen that happen before, really. Like,
That's why I love Nitro, though. Pit stops.
yeah, it was cool. It was a great race to be at and to watch. And I think that, for Ryan, he's just going to have to find out a way eventually to wear that headset in one way or another, because it's a disadvantage if you don't. He did wear it this year at the Nitro Challenge because the pit lane wasn't underneath the driver's stand. They had like the makeshift track, and pit lane was on the left side. So he did wear it at Nitro Challenge, and he won a race with the headset. So he really just needs to kind of, how do they say it? You just got
I mean, you could wear an earbud and just you call him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what I was looking into was, what I'd like to have is the pit guy has the headset and the driver has an earbud like you have.
Right.
And you can at least hear. You can at least hear what's going on. It's kind of like the Secret Service.
Secret Service, yep.
And when I was looking them up online, everything was Secret Service. Do you want the Secret Service? And I'm just like, it's obviously the buzzword.
Jason's getting red flagged by the government.
Yeah, it's like I'm looking at like Secret Service, like things for communication, and so yeah, I think it's something he's going to have to learn how to do, one way or another. Get it set up so that it's comfortable for him, because you just can't give up that kind of
jumble.
Yeah, they use earbuds. I think the question is how do you talk back? If you have the earbuds, is it just an open line of communication between your headset and the earbud? And then, because the way those headsets work is, I think you can kind of turn them on and off too. Like you can flip it up so that there's no.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, when the guys flip it up.
Yeah, they're
cuts
really
communication
cool.
off.
They're really actually cool. And
well, they must be heavy then, because for him not to like that. Because I know, like, the pair I have here for gaming is kind of, they try to make them lightweight, but you can still, after a few hours of gaming, you feel that on your head. Now, when I used to wear them for the podcast, same thing. If we did a 2-3 hour show, you definitely feel it. So I switched to earbuds because I just don't like the feeling of a headset.
If John is, he's saying that some are voice activated, and that'd be great. Like if your pit guy said, if your pit guy was able to say, he could have an earbud and on the driver's stand, as the pit lane guy has a headset, it would be nice, because if he started talking and then it would pick up, that'd be really cool. That's what we need.
Yeah, John's saying like headsets on Gold Wings are voice activated.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But in the meantime, Mayfield could have an earbud in. Was this fun? You call him, you got yours in.
Yeah, but how does he answer it?
Huh?
You know what I mean? Like,
well, no, you just start the call before the race. Yeah.
Yeah, you have a live call.
Yeah, and he has his earbuds in, and you got yours in, and you can talk to him that way. You guys discussed it in the pits afterwards.
Yeah.
Somebody brought it up.
You just got to figure out. You just kind of have to figure out a way to do it. I mean, other guys have figured it out and they are comfortable with it. It's something you're going to have to adapt to because you really can't go without that information. And so it is what it is.
Is what it is.
Chalk up a win for Ty in the headset.
Paul Wynn saying he used them at Wicked also.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's good. I mean, he won a Trey main there. Hopefully, he was using them during that, and it's. I think he's wearing down a little bit. I think he was initially pretty upset after that race of what was going on, and then when we were kind of explaining it to him, and it's like, I mean, what the difficult part to me is when you're down there and you start yelling up to the driver, they don't know what you're yelling up to them for. You know what I mean? If you're not saying something below the driver's stand for most of the race, like you're staying pretty quiet, and then you start yelling up to the driver and he's concentrating on driving, he doesn't know why you're yelling up to him. And then there becomes a part where you have to kind of confirm what you're talking about. And it's really confusing. It really, really is.
Well, I would have just gave him updates like 6 minutes. I would have just been yelling that up.
But it's hard to even hear that. When you're locked in and you're driving, it's hard to hear who it is and if that was aimed at you or somebody else. Like I've had that happen where you think somebody's talking to you. Like I've been up there before and I'm like, are you talking
to me?
all
those guys had headsets on, I think, except Mayfield.
Maybe, yeah.
So I mean, like, you'd be the only one yelling up.
Yeah.
Paul Wynn saying Spencer used to have a spotter, Brent, right? And Richard, the pit guy, wearing them.
Yeah. And I've seen Ungaro do the same thing, and I like that idea. But the driver has to be willing to hear that type of information while they're driving.
Well, Mayfield is willing to. He was yelling at you. I need updates.
Yeah. But
that's not legal. Yeah.
To have that many headsets, I guess you can only have 2. But
okay.
Yeah, I think it's everybody wants updates until you give them too many updates. So
I think I always ask. So they don't have a. You can be in constant communication with them, even like there's no rule saying. Well, no, I guess not. They can't be.
No, you can do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can be in constant communication. And you can wear them at the Worlds too.
So if Mara doesn't have any rules against it?
No, I think they allowed it, and it is a good thing. I think it's good for that racing. And
well, it makes sense to me because, man, it is loud.
Yeah, I mean, when people, because the pit guy is concentrated on pitting and watching the car on the track, the driver's concentrating on his driving and navigating the track, and you have to break somebody's concentration to get the communication by yelling. And if you have the headset, when somebody's coming in there and talking to you right in your ear, then it's like, okay, this is pertaining to me. This is for me.
Right.
Randy was asking here, besides Ryan, if there's anybody else that doesn't like headsets, but I'm trying to think who else. There is a couple good drivers, but I think most people love it because they like that feeling like they're in a real race car, right? Like they like the fact that they're in touch with their pit guy.
Right. So who makes the headsets? How many companies are there?
There is several. When I was looking them up one day, there definitely is several different ones. I can't remember the name of the one that everybody uses right now, but it's pretty popular. Who the heck was talking to that wears them in electric. Who was that?
Oh, really?
I forget where that was. Somebody was using them on the electric track.
What would you need them for electric for?
Just talking to somebody, I guess. There's people were telling me that there's certain drivers that will not shut up when they're driving. Like I've heard like Robert Battle talks the entire time. Like
Who's he talk to?
this pit guy. Like I'm talking about like at a nitro race.
Oh, at a nitro. Okay.
The driver, they say he just talks the entire time.
With the headset, you mean he's not yelling down?
Right. Yeah.
So he's talking the whole race.
I've heard of people doing that. Yeah.
Wow. Must be a comfort thing, maybe.
I want to say Ungaro does a lot of talking too when he's driving. I've never tried it. I've never raced with a headset. I kind of want to do it. Just so I get an idea of what it feels like.
Yeah. Randy's saying EarTech is the headset he uses.
I bumped into those the other day on when I was searching, for some of that stuff.
So it's not a specific RC company making them. It's just a company that makes headsets.
Yeah.
For a wide range of things, apparently.
Yep.
It's got to be a lightweight version out. Because the one I have for gaming brags that they're lightweight, and they are, but after a while, you still feel it. But
yeah, I thought it was it's something you just got to get used to doing, and it's just something that's out there. It's an advantage to be doing it, and you gotta commit to it.
Yeah.
Well, what happens is when you commit too late, then all of a sudden you have to play a little bit of catch up. The guys that jump on it early, they get used to it early, and then it's just like nothing for them. They don't want to do it any other way.
Right.
I'm sure there's a lot of drivers out there that would really struggle if their headset went dead or something. They would what are they going to do now?
Yeah, so that it was a real good time. I had a blast, and it went quick though. It seemed like as soon as I got there, it was pretty much over. But yeah, we had a good time. Went out to lunch, hit that spot over there, and went back and watched the main.
They got a good setup for their pits there too, don't they?
Oh, Mayfield.
Well, just the guys.
I was in the trailer cooling off.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was going to be that hot because I kept hearing, "Oh, Sunday's going to be the nicest day. It's going to be like, a little breeze in the air." So I got there. It was brutal. I mean, it was high 80s. It had to be, and just humid, right? It was really humid.
Well, I mean, not compared to Florida, but yeah.
Well, yeah, probably for you it was like a vacation, but
yeah.
That's Red's trailer that we were in.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. Well, it was nice in there.
Yeah, you can see all the drivers battling to be in there. I mean, they're packed in there because
it was like a fridge.
Yeah, they got it. They definitely got it made in there.
Yeah.
But it's good, and you got to be comfortable these days, I guess.
Yeah, I can't imagine working outside in that heat, working on your car. So it is an advantage or nice comfort thing to have for sure. I couldn't believe how big that trailer was too. It was like,
Yeah, he upgraded. His old trailer is the one he actually sold to Spencer.
Oh, okay.
So he had a nice trailer before that he definitely wanted to upgrade. So Spencer bought his old trailer and had it hauled to Arizona.
Oh, nice.
And then Red got a new one. And a new truck to tow it, F350 or 450 or something. He's got some monster F450 to pull it. So
watching him back that up and hook it up there at the end.
Yeah, it's got the gooseneck set up, so it had the mounted bed.
Pretty nice.
Absolutely. Pretty nice.
There's a lot of money in the pits. A lot of money.
Yeah, I mean that's how these things are. It doesn't matter if it's RC or real cars or go-karts or whatever. It seems like once you go all in and you have if you have the resources, keep trying to make it more lavish and easier to, to have your cars, your pit space. And we kind of went through that in the 90s. We didn't have that kind of trailer stuff, but Paul had a trailer that he got from J.R. Mitch in the early 90s. That was really cool. He used that for a while, or it was opposite. Paul had it first, then sold it to JR. I think that's what it was. It was one or the other. I think Paul might have had it first and then sold it to JR. I can't remember exactly what happened. Anyway, I had a trailer also in those days, but what I really found that I didn't like is it took me out of all the rest of the racers. So when I was in the trailer, I felt like I didn't really have as good a touch what was going on with the track and the other racers. And I felt like it was harder, at the time, I felt it was important to be a little more accessible, I guess you could say. When you're a little more accessible to the other racers, I felt like I was actually like there a little bit more. Like I think to some extent when you have a trailer and air conditioning and you close the door, you're not really in the environment. You're only there for yourself, and you're only there for your own results, yourself, and if there's somebody pitting with you in the trailer. When you pit outside, maybe under a tent or in sort of a common area, I kind of feel like you're much more a part of the event, and more people talk to you. You get to talk to more people. So I kind of thought that was when I had the trailer back in those days, that it was a limiting factor for that. But you can see what people value these days. They want that trailer. They want to be inside there. They want to be comfortable and concentrate on their racing. It's not necessarily about everybody else's racing. It's about their racing, and they want to make it comfortable. And that's what they're doing.
Santos is saying, I remember when I stopped racing weekly in 01, when I went to a few races between 05 and 07, there were trailers everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, he's right. People want to bring it's like a mobile pit area. They want to bring everything with them. And
you're flexing also.
It is easier. It is easier to show up, have your trailer, and everything's in there, and you just turn on the lights and rock and roll. But yeah, there's more of them today. There's no question about it. And it is harder to go see those drivers. Sometimes you feel strange about just walking into people's trailers and opening up the door. And so, yeah, it makes it a little more awkward.
Let me sit in here, air conditioned. I had no problem. I'm like, I go to Jason, I go, where's Mayfield's trailer at?
Let's get in there.
Let's get in there quick. But yeah, I had a great time. Glad I made it out there, and glad you were able to make it out. After that debacle with the Frontier. And you got your bag. That was the main thing. The main thing was getting your bag, dude.
Yeah, it was nice to get the bag. And
I told you it was in Harrisburg. I knew it was going to be there.
Yeah, one of the girls working there, she overheard me talking to.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, there was nobody there. Nobody there from Frontier.
Yeah, Jason shows up to Harrisburg on Saturday, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, Saturday.
And nobody's there at Frontier, right?
Yeah, it was just a ghost town in the airport. There's nobody in there.
And then somebody overheard you.
Yeah, they overheard me, and they said, "Hey, I have baggage access. I can get it for you." And I handed her my claim ticket. She came out in 30 seconds with my bag. I was like, "Whoa, this is unbelievable." I'm like, "No way this happened." But yeah, it worked out.
But it would have been nice if Frontier didn't screw all that up, because then we would have been there Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
No. Hey, Friday, Saturday,
Sunday. Yeah. It's got the new LA Knight shirt on there, I see.
Yeah, went for it.
You went for it.
I mean, hey, well, while this is a thing, we might as well take advantage of it. And then
hey, anything to get you watch wrestling. So, Joey Showers. Hello, guys.
How we doing?
Jason Santos saying, yes, I didn't like having to walk into someone's trailer, especially if it was someone I really didn't know. Just walk in anyway.
Sit down, find the AC.
Who are you?
You got any snacks in here?
Yeah. That's what I was looking for. I said Mayfield's pit. Where's the snacks at? Don't you have any Capri Suns or Juicy Juice, orange slices, anything?
Capri Sun. I mean, those are pretty good.
Oh, we did have the slushies from the hobby shop.
Yeah. We had 2 or 3 of those. They
Dude,
were good.
Those were awesome, right?
Mm-hmm.
Though we got a little, that girl didn't give us the little gummy worm that she was putting on top of the rest of them.
We had to go back the second time to get the gummy worm, but they went with that special mixture. What was it? Strawberry and
pineapple, I believe.
It was good.
Or mango? Yeah, I forget what it
good.
was. Tried a different couple ones, but
that was a great suggestion we got from them on that.
Yeah, definitely cooled you down. So there you go. So we made it there. Like I said, little hiccups, but I got there and got a chance to hang out with Jason for a bit, and now we'll see what I do next, because I think the Worlds is definitely out for me. I don't want, mainly because I don't want you to feel like you have to, I could just hang out there and stuff, but it seems like it's gonna be all tight and a bunch of, whatever. I'd rather go to something that I can, hey, that monster truck event sounds like something I could go up there and see Kyle Batman, because I'm sure he'll be there at that one. So a couple guys from this area will probably be there. So
I'm actually going there this week too.
For what?
Our turf nationals.
Oh, well, man, you should have told me that. Wait, when's that? This weekend?
Yeah, I'll be flying up there Thursday.
All right. That would have probably been a good one to go to.
You can still go. I mean,
where do you guys fly into? So this is the same track, RC Madness. So where do you guys fly into?
It's Hartford.
Hartford, okay.
Yeah, and it's like the track is like 15 minutes from the Hartford airport.
Oh, you could pick me up then if I flew up there.
That's how you have to fly there?
Yeah, it's like a 5-hour drive, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Yeah, if you fly into Hartford, I'll come pick you up.
I mean, what's the I don't want to drive 5 hours. Jesus. That driving an hour and a half, come on.
Yeah, just book a Frontier flight, you'll be set.
Frontier. Well, I'm carry on. I'm not checking any bags into the, carry on only, man. We learned our lesson.
That's true.
So anyway, that was a good time, and LCRC, they put on a hell of an event as always.
Yeah, I think we'll have to do our next show. We'll either talk about.
That's right. Santos saying, "Come up to the Vonats if you're not heading to the Worlds." Yeah, that's. I remember Nick DeVito made that offer to me. He said he would have cars ready for me to run. That's on the September 8th, I think, somewhere in there. Not a bad idea, really. Jason, as you go up, you want to pick me up? I don't feel like driving. Yeah. So what were we going to say about the next episode?
You guys... Yeah, we're going to RC Madness for the Turf Nats, but then the Worlds is after that. So before that, we need to do a Worlds preview, and maybe we could do something on a combo of the Turf Nats and the Worlds preview.
Oh, okay. Before sometime next week.
Yeah.
You're saying, yeah. You get a guest on the show too for the Worlds. See if you can round somebody up. So Worlds weekend, that race to Vonats. Okay. We'll see what happens. I'd like to attend more races, and I'd like to attend some races that Jason's at to hang out with them. It was fun. So, but again, you can challenge. Had a blast. Somebody mentioned, did you talk to anybody or something about the show? Yeah, we ran into a few people that listen to the show, and
a lot.
Yeah, and it's always, because I don't know. You always think like, how many people really listen and stuff, but you get people to talk to you, and they're like, "Man, I really enjoy it. I listen." Ed says he's a UPS driver. He listens to it as he's doing his route.
Mm-hmm.
So And
I
he
can
hasn't
remember.
driven his truck off a cliff yet because of us. So.
Yeah, he's just like, man, these guys, same old rhetoric.
Yeah. All right. So we'll be back next week. So we're talking before the turf nats, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll come back next week, and then you have the worlds coming up. So we'll have to do a show. We'll have to do the show before the worlds.
Yeah, technically we could do one on
We could
we can do one about the vintage, or not the vintage. We could talk about the turf nats. We could also talk to Jason a little bit about the upcoming vintage nats, and then that could be a show, and then we could talk about the worlds before it actually happens.
Yeah, great idea. Yeah, we're pumping them out for you. Doing good. So this was episode 254. Don't forget to give us a like. Head over to Facebook. Tell a friend. If you're listening to the show, obviously you already like the page and stuff, but tell someone else. Head on over to YouTube, Radio Impound Podcast. Head over to Kick. We're also broadcasting on Kick. That's a YouTube spin-off that's I thought, what the heck? It's up here on StreamYard. I might as well just throw the show up there too if anybody's on Kick. A little bit more forgiving than YouTube. Somebody asked me, what's Kick all about? Well, same as YouTube, but a little more forgiving. And let's see, we got another question here. Manny RC out of nowhere says, Jason, are you bringing a photographer to the turf nats?
Yep. Yeah, Hannah will be there covering the event. And I believe we may have Matt Olson there too, doing the live coverage. I know he'll probably get there. It's going to be a scramble because he's got to go right back to the worlds after that. And he's traveling with a lot of, I got to do the same thing, but he travels with a lot of camera equipment. So we'll see how he kind of breaks it up. But yeah, he'll be there running live video. Then Hannah will be there covering the event and photography. So same old story for us.
Sweet. Hopefully he doesn't fly Frontier.
Correct.
Lose all that equipment, and then you won't have nothing. All right, guys. So we'll catch you for 255 next week, right before the Turf Nationals. And don't forget to head over to jconcepts.net and show them some love, man. You got some new stuff coming out, and always updating that page with exciting stuff. And so show them some love. Whatever you're running now, if it's not J Concepts, ditch them and buy all J Concepts. The sponsorships are opening up soon too. So if you're looking for to get a sponsor from J Concepts, I saw on your website, Jason, it said coming in October, sponsorship applications or team driver applications.
Yeah, we usually October, November, we start taking some applications and we close off at some point.
I'm going to throw some fake ones in there and see if they accept me.
I hope not.
Yeah. Ed's saying, thanks, guys. It was great to meet you. Yeah, it was awesome to meet you, Ed. So that's cool. So 255. We'll catch you next week, and we'll see you then.
Thanks, everybody.